Good morning. Dear Dr. Zwingenberger, State Minister Beißwenger, our speakers and our guests, thank you all for coming out this morning for today's symposium on the economic relationship between the United States, Germany, and the European Union. I'm Jeff Rathke. I'm the president of the American-German Institute based in Washington, D.C. We are the only think tank in the United States that specializes in German-American relations. And for that reason, it's a great pleasure and privilege for us to be here in Munich for today's discussion with leaders from the United States and Germany to talk about the future of our economic relationship. We are especially pleased to be in partnership with the Amerikahaus Munich, and I would like to take this opportunity to recognize the director of Amerikahaus Munich, Dr. Maike Zwingenberger, and ask her to say a few words as we get started this morning. So, Dr. Zwingenberger.
Good morning, everyone, and a warm welcome here at Amerikahaus. And thank you, Jeff, for the nice introduction. Dear Staatsminister Erich Beißwenger, Bavarian State Minister for European and International Relations, dear President of the German-American Institute, Jeff Rathke, again, and dear Deputy Director General for Trade and Economic Security of the German Ministry of Economic Affairs, Andreas Nicolin. Dear distinguished speakers and guests, it's a great pleasure to welcome you here early in the morning. I am very much looking forward to our ambitious program and insightful panels on what the future challenges of the new geoeconomic order are. But let me take you back in history for just a short moment. On April 30th, 1945, the US Army took control of Munich, 80 years and 2 weeks ago. You can take a glimpse on the after-war situation in Munich city center downstairs in the exhibition in our entrance hall. American photographer Lee Miller was in Munich and Dachau as a foreign correspondent for Vogue magazine to document the liberation of Germany by American soldiers. The American soldiers arrived and stayed. In addition to the military presence of America in Germany and the strengthening economic cooperation in the following years, Amerikahäuser were established as cultural and information centers devoted to the re-education and democratization of Germans according to the American model. Soon they became extremely popular places with large libraries, and this is actually the place where our library was before, modern art exhibitions, jazz music on stage, and academic conferences and panel discussions, devoted to exchange and mutual understanding to foster stronger democracies. Academic exchange and collaboration were at the heart of the centers right from the beginning. Today, with this conference, the exchange is going to continue. It is of great importance that the Technical University put Europe in the center of their week-long program. Once a continent torn apart by war, Europe is now a symbol of peace and prosperity for a larger part of the world. And Europe, especially with the new German government in place, needs to respond to the challenges of the second Trump administration. I'm looking forward to hear something about new economic strategies and adjusting trade policies. I'm hoping that diplomatic engagement is possible and European leaders can work closely with US institutions to push for policies that align with their interests. And we will make sure that public discourse and awareness for strengthening alliances within Europe and with the US will continue. My thanks go to the German-American Institute for choosing such a fitting historic location for the important conference, and to Technical University Munich and the Allianz for partnering. And now we can very much look forward to the keynote by Staatsminister Erich Beißwenger. Welcome and thank you.
You get me again, sorry. I think our timing could not be better today. We are in the first full week of a new national government in Berlin, and we have heard and paid attention to the government declaration yesterday in the Bundestag by the chancellor. I want to thank our partners from the Technical University of Munich for being with us in this endeavor today. The international economic order is shifting. We see this clearly in the tariff actions of the Trump administration and the decisions of private sector companies to invest and to structure their supply chains are made with a time horizon of years and, in some cases, decades. Against that backdrop, a report caught my eye yesterday in the Washington Post. Since January 20th, the Trump administration officials have announced new or revised tariff policies more than 50 times. Now, the exact goals of these moves are unclear, although we will certainly talk about that today and try to understand that better. But President Trump's desire to remake the global economy is apparent. The effects on supply chains, investment planning, and international economic relationships are then enormous. But the reshaping of the global economy did not begin on January 20th, 2025, or even on the first day of Donald Trump's first term in office in 2017. If you look, you might find origins in China's industrial strategy, such as the Made in China 2025 initiative, which was launched 10 years ago, with the goal of securing China's leading position in high technology and advanced manufacturing sectors of the economy of the 21st century. You might also look at the 2001 accession of China to the World Trade Organization. At that time, China represented 8% of global manufacturing, and today, that's over 30%. However, pinpointing the exact start of the shift in globalization is not our focus today. We live now, whether we like it or not, in an international environment that is characterized by strategic rivalry and systemic economic competition. And the fact of that competition and its effect on relations between Germany and the United States and the European Union is what we devote our discussions to today. To quote my Johns Hopkins colleague, Dan Hamilton, and his excellent annual report on the transatlantic economy, the US-Europe commercial relationship is the most mutually beneficial on Earth. No two other regions are as deeply integrated as the United States and Europe. And that's not by accident. The American instinct for the last 80 years, not only in cultural policy and in founding and strengthening democracies, as Dr. Zwingenberger just mentioned, but also in the economic realm. Our instinct has been to work together to build our prosperity and to shape the global economic order. So now the transatlantic economy is at an inflection point. What choices will Europe and the United States make, and will we make them together? Two aspects in particular stand out for us today. First is the concept of economic security, which plays a growing role in American policymaking and also in Europe. And second, the role of the technology sector in German, European Union, and United States views of their economic relations. So as we get started today, I'm very glad to begin with observations and priorities from the Bavarian government. Bavaria is home to one of the most dynamic economies in Europe, and the deep tech sector in particular plays an increasingly important role. It is therefore a great privilege for us to have with us this morning State Minister for European and International Affairs, Eric Beißwenger. The State Minister has held this position since 2023 in the State Chancellery. He trained in banking and has a quarter century of experience also in the agricultural sector, as well as positions at all levels of government. So he brings experience across the entire economy, as well as government and governance. And so I look forward very much to hearing his keynote remarks on the economic relationship between the United States and Germany and the European Union. Mr. Beißwenger, the floor is yours.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, we've heard the Amerikahaus is a significant symbol of transatlantic friendship. Since being founded in 1948, the history of the Amerikahaus is a history of our friendship. The interest demonstrated by the American-German Institute is of particular value. The Americans were noble and generous victors at the end of the Second World War. To this day, we remain grateful to the United States for helping our economy recovery with the Marshall Plan, which provided aid based on self-help, and for bringing food to Europe. Our shared past is a strong bond for us. For this, we are truly grateful to the United States to this day. It was no matter, of course, that Germany was able to join NATO 10 years after the war ended. In Bavaria, we were also fortunate to benefit from the USA's democratization policy. They sent out an important message from the United States: democracy has a future. And this marked the beginning of a long friendship between the United States and Bavaria, from business and science to cultural cooperation and military collaboration. Bavaria is one of the regions in Europe with the best and deepest relations with the USA. Over the decades, 16 million Americans were stationed in Germany, many of them in Bavaria. We are very proud of this friendship. The United States has been our most loyal ally for over 70 years. The USA is also one of Bavaria's most important economic partners. It is our second trading partner after China and, at the same time, the most important export market for Bavarian companies. There are some 2,200 companies doing business in the USA. All in all, Bavarian companies account for 576,000 jobs in the United States. Nowhere in the world have Bavarian companies invested more than in the USA. We are talking about 74 billion euro, which has created over 166,000 jobs in the United States. And that just covers trades in goods. Over 1,515 US companies are active in Bavaria. The ongoing development and many direct investments show that a genuine transfer of knowledge is taking place from which both sides benefit. The Bavarian state government and I personally place great importance to the transatlantic community of values for freedom, respect, and democracy. We believe in a common transatlantic future. The current global situation clearly shows that peace, freedom, prosperity can still not be taken for granted in 2025. Above all, this means that Europe must emancipate itself and do more for its own security. The European Union must refocus on its strengths. We are under great pressure to act on many issues. With the European Commission's Rearm Europe defense package, the reinforcements of Europe's defense capability is finally getting underway. Bavaria has been advocating a boost in military capabilities and defense spending for years. Shortly before the Munich Security Conference, Bavaria's Minister President Dr. Markus Söder presented a master plan for strengthening the Bundeswehr and defense. In Berlin, the easing of the debt brake for defense spending marks the first major success. And the coalition agreement is sending out a clear message: the new era has begun. Europe and the United States need each other. Europe and the USA should be moving closer together. They should intensify economic cooperations and not reduce it. The United States is and will remain Europe's most important partner. In Bavaria, we are grateful for this long-standing friendship and partnership. Ladies and gentlemen, the Amerikahaus mirrors this bond. But today, we see that the shared history alone is not enough to ensure trusting relations in the future. As in life, friendships need to be cultivated and passed on. We all share the conviction that only together can we create security and peace and defend our common values. I am an optimist and continue to believe in a common transatlantic future. The phone call Chancellor Merz had with President Trump a few days ago was a promising start. Let us face the new challenges of our time together as partners and friends. God bless Bavaria, God bless Germany, and God bless America. Thank you.
Well, thank you, State Minister, for those remarks to get us kicked off. I think with a very clear focus on the potential and the opportunities of partnership between the United States and Europe. We are going to transition the stage here now to for our first panel on economic security. So if you will bear with us for a moment, we will set the stage, and I will also then hand things over to my colleague, the Vice President of the American-German Institute and Director of our Geoeconomics program, Peter Raschisch. So one moment, and we'll be right back with you in a new configuration.